Peace, 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 peace. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Rich. Another episode of Real Talk with Rich. We back in the building. Yours truly is back in the saddle. What's good? How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had a wonderful Sunday. Yours truly had a great Sunday. And I'm here with you guys. And like I always like to say, I am better than I deserve. And so for that, I thank the Lord. And so tonight we got a show, and we're gonna have a good time. So we're only gonna be here for a hot second. So don't blink, because we might be wrapping this thing up before you know it. But I want to salute the Black Comic Lords. I want to also salute the Black Superheroes Forever fam. I also want to salute the Black comic book community in general, because I recognize that everybody that watches on YouTube is not a part of our Facebook groups. And so I just want to shout everybody out. Want to thank you guys for hanging out with your boy tonight. And we got to talk about some stuff, man. We got some dope stuff happening. So before we get to all of that, though, I want to also ask you guys, since you're here, since you're coming through the door, before you take your seat, get your libation and all that good stuff and your popcorn, why don't you just go ahead and hit the like button? You know what I'm saying? Click tickle the little bell for our notifications. So every time we go live or we got a show happening, you can be notified. All right. Also, I want to just remind you that we are now monetized. And so you guys can support the channel by offering super chats. And, if any amount, we will be grateful for. It takes a little dough to do what we do. And so for that, I just ask that you continue to support Black Comic Lords so we can make this magic happen, whether we're talking about the ladies' live shows, whether we're talking about Wakanda Whiskey and Bourbon, or whether we're talking about Real Talk with Rich, or our interviews that we got lined up. We got some interviews lined up, guys. We're getting ready to go into season 2 of our interviews, if I can say it like that. So that's what's up. So please continue to support. Please hit the like button. And so let's get into this thing. So we're going to start off with Killadelphia. We're not playing with y'all tonight. We're getting right into it. Screen Rant article there says, Spawn crashes Killadelphia, launching Image Mosaki new crossover. So let's talk about it. Killadelphia is my favorite comic book. For those of you who know and have watched this show and have seen me on lives and talk about, I love this comic book. It's a dope comic book. And so issue 30 just dropped. And man, everybody got caught. Everybody got caught by surprise, including yours truly. But, I'm going to be honest. I think that when the news dropped that Spawn was in the book, I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. A lot of people were more excited than I was. And the reason I guess that I'm not really tripping about it is because, one, I read Spawn. I read all the Spawn titles. I read King Spawn. I read Spawn. I read Gunslinger Spawn. I read The Scorch. And so I've been a Spawn fan since the 90s. And so to see him show up, that's cool. I mean, I ain't gonna sit up in front like, I knew something or whatever, because I didn't. But I will say this, in our last interview we did with Rodney Barnes, me and Paul and the crew, we did ask, I asked him, matter of fact, did he ever have an interest in writing on Spawn? He said, yeah. And so, we were just we're fans, and we're just, thinking about, man, what could Rodney Barnes do with a Spawn title? So he probably had the ink was probably dry on the contract when we had the interview. But I'm glad that he's getting a shot. Now, shout out to Jason Sean Alexander, because Jason Sean Alexander has done artwork on Spawn. If you go back and read some of that old Spawn in the 200s, you would see Jason Sean Alexander's pen doing hardcore work in the Spawn book. So shout out to Rodney Barnes. Shout out to Killadelphia for making that magic happen. Shout out to Frustrated Sports Fans for the super chat. $5. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be dope. Now, here's the thing about the Spawn book or Killadelphia. Killadelphia 31. We won't see that book for a minute. It's gonna be in October. Killadelphia is gonna go on hiatus. So we're not gonna have any Killadelphia books until October, which is cool because we still got Nita Hawes. We still got all his stuff that he's doing, that Rodney Barnes is doing on his Substack. So Rodney Barnes has got a lot of stuff out there. Now, the cool thing is Spawn was not the only appearance in issue number 30. Nita Hawes also appears in issue 30 too. So this is going to be pretty big. Now, cool thing is I'm really excited for this thing and for this reason alone. One is that, here's a black character talking about Al Simmons. You can debate whether or not he's a black character or not, but dude is black. Oh, shout out to behind the scenes. The $10 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, sir. Hashtag no blue marble, no ticket. I ain't mad at that. Thank you. That's what's up. Thanks again, guys. Thank you for the support. So, yeah, man. So here's the thing, though. It's an opportunity for a big time, I would say, character and a big time comic book universe to merge. See, this is not just good for Killadelphia. This is good for Spawn too, because Spawn has made appearances in Batman, of course, we know, but on an independent level thing, this is pretty cool. So, we're gonna get some dope books in the fall. Now, let me address all of my Killadelphia not haters, but people that just have not picked up this book. Let me tell you something. Shout out to Amir and the 1 in 100 podcast, because they said something in their last podcast about this particular book, and I thought was cool, and is the truth, is that this is not a book just about vampires. This is a book about people. I maintain as a comic head that any books that we get, whether you're talking about a god or whether you're talking about an alien or whether you're talking about superheroes or whatever, it's all based on the human experience. Killadelphia is a book about people. People want to know why Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead was as big as it is, and how did that book blow up? Because it wasn't about the zombies. The zombies are in there, yes. The zombies are eating people, yes. But The Walking Dead is about people and how they relate to one another. We find out that there are worse things than zombies in Killadelphia. I mean, in The Walking Dead. And in Killadelphia, it's a dope story about some different relationships, man. So if you have not read Killadelphia, go get the trade. You can go get issue 1 for $1. They have the Image First books. Go get the first issue. Just do yourself a favor and check out the material, man, because it's dope, bro. H&A says, I really like the backstory in 30 involving Ray Hartfield. Yes, shout out to Seesaw, because Seesaw's been around since day one. And so we finally got some, and that was the cool thing about this issue. This issue was not only dope. I mean, we got some backstory for Seesaw. We got a good story leading up to this event of Spawn showing up. So, man, and guess what, y'all? You can't find that book. Shout out to you if you've been able to find Killadelphia 30, because it is not on the shelf. When people found out that that book had Spawn in it, they rushed the the comic shops and they cleaned out the books. Matter of fact, I was not able to get a cover. I had to get a B cover, but I'm also getting the A cover, but I'm getting the black and white, or what they call the Nyor edition of the book. I'm having that sent to me. I had to pay a little bread for that. So it's cool. But yeah, nobody was expecting this. Nobody. Nobody. But Rodney Barnes dropped the bomb. And I'm gonna be honest, Rodney Barnes is Steph Curry with the rock. We thought this book was wrapping up and they was gonna put a nice bow on it and be done with it. I myself was like, you know what? They've told a dope story. And if Rodney Barnes decides to move away from it and try to do more with the Killadelphia universe around the other books, because he's got Killadelphia, he's got Nita Hall's Nightmare Blog, he's got Sheriff Gatlin, he's got 20 Past Rigor, he's got Elysium Gardens. He's got like 5, 6 titles dedicated in this universe. He's not playing, y'all. So again, I was thinking that he was going to wrap this up. And then he said to us that they got an idea to keep it going. And little did we know, this is what this was going to do. Spawn will help bring that back up. Spawn will help to increase the sales for Killadelphia, expand its market. Well, no doubt. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's going to help Gordon. But here's the thing about Killadelphia. Killadelphia has sold 30 issues without Spawn. Without Spawn. This book has been on people's pull list. There's a reason why this book lasted 30 issues. And it's because people pre-ordered this book. People were enjoying this book. And this book literally has a cult following. It's not as big as, say, The Walking Dead and some other titles like Something's Killing the Children. But it's significant. It's significant. But definitely, you know, the people that are Spawn fans are definitely going to want to pick this up, because they're going to want to see their guy do work in the universe. And what I love about this is that, just to give you, I don't want to spoil anything, but let me just give you some real quick, some backstory. Seesaw, the guy that's that's the focus for the most part in this story of issue 30, has been going around trying to get help from other people to fight this battle in Philadelphia. He's been unsuccessful. He recruited Anansi, but Anansi, it just was too much for him. The God had to like take a seat. So in his searching for someone to help, you know, their side, he runs into Al Simmons, who don't fear nothing. Let me tell you, nothing. I know people like to throw their superhero stories around, and but I'm asking, who can check Spawn? I'll wait, because I just don't see it. That dude is amazing. Spawn is a character, and the books that are being written right now, that universe, the Spawn universe, is incredible. But you know, Spawn's that guy, and I'm just excited to see what they're gonna do. So yeah, we getting ready to get some good stuff. So Frustrated Sports, this is my first time we have seen Spawn cross with a new title in a while. I think since Ant number 3. Possibly. I mean, here's the thing about Spawn. Shout out to the Godfather, Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane does what he wants to do. Todd McFarlane if there's a gangster in comic books, Todd McFarlane is that guy, because Todd McFarlane literally does whatever Todd McFarlane wants to do. The Spawn books are $2.99. Not because Image don't want to sell Spawn for $4.99 or $5.99 or for $6.99. No, those books are $2.99 and have been $2.99 for a long time, because Todd McFarlane is a comic head. And he says, as long as Spawn is in print, I am not raising the price on that book. And that book is $2.99. You can go to a comic shop, whether you want to get King Spawn, whether you want to get Spawn, or you want to get the Scorch, or you want to get Gunslinger Spawn. They're all $2.99. Everything else is $3.99. He's the Godfather. So he does what he wants. And I ain't mad at that. I am not mad at that at all. I am happy that there's somebody in the fandom that just has that kind of weight and has that kind of pull. And so this is definitely, I would say, a glow up for Killadelphia, but it's also a glow up for Spawn as well, because we get to see Spawn act, interact in a different environment, and that's going to be cool to see. Because I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to seeing Spawn and the Nazi. I'm looking forward to that dialogue. That's going to be pretty cool. That's going to be pretty cool. So that's what's up. Speaking of Killadelphia, on next Sunday night, we are going to be doing a Killadelphia spec show. There are some books, ladies and gentlemen, that are very worth your dough. There are not a lot of spec books in Killadelphia, but there are a few, and we are going to talk in detail. Me and Dr. Wizard, our producer Derek, is going to be hanging out with me, and we're going to talk about these books. We're going to talk about these variants. We're going to talk about books that you probably have never seen. We're going to even show you some book. We're going to show you a cover. Neil Adams, who just passed away recently, one of the last works he did was a cover for Killadelphia. You're going to get to see that as well. So we got some stuff lined up for you, So next Sunday night, we're going to be doing a show, but it's going to be a Killadelphia spec show. So stay tuned for that. I mean, what I'm saying? Because part of my thought is, we want to talk spec, and that's kind of, Derek's thing. And so I'm going to support him in this effort. But at the same time, he knows that I'm a Killadelphia head. And so I'm here for all of that. So please, y'all, come hang out with us. It's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. You want to get some of these books. But, issue 30, I don't even know if they're going to do a second print of issue 30. Knowing Image, they probably will. And if they don't, man, that book is going to go for some bread. Because I'm going to tell you, with the show coming up, I know y'all were talking about the show in the chat. With the show coming up, that leaves some wiggle room for maybe Spawn to show up in the show. And if Spawn shows up in the show, issue 30 is going to be a major key. So, everybody that don't know about this book, go get a late pass, because this title is going somewhere, and we here all for it. That's what's up. Shout out to Fourth Wall Comics in the building. So yeah, so hang out with us. We're gonna get into it, man, about Killadelphia. Having said that, we're gonna go ahead and switch gears. We're gonna take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about a book that has been out for quite a while. While its author is very controversial, I'm not here for that drama, and I will set the guidelines when we come back. But stay tuned. We're going to be talking about Isom in a few.
Dear Mr. Billy Graham, I know this letter is late, but you know what they say, better late than never. And I'm writing to you because I know you'll never read this or hear this. It's a measure of therapy for me, I guess. Wondering how you never get mentioned when you are really only one of the few worth mentioning. After all, I don't think Sam and Dave had you in mind, but without question, you are a soul man. How else can you explain how a man can draw tears so well if he never shed any tears of his own? Yes, and I hear music, especially drums, when I see jungle action panels. And when I see Luke Cage panels, I hear the jukebox blaring out horns in the after hours joint. I guess I'm trying to say, Mr. Graham, that I dig your style, and you deserve to be celebrated like the heroes you drew. And like I said, you won't see or hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank you, Mr. Billy Graham. You are a Black History legend. Respectfully, the Black Comic Lords. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, peace.
All right. Yes, indeed. Shout out to the King, Billy Graham. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Isom. This is a official review. This is Rich Record. This is Richard Real Talk with Rich review. I wanted to talk about this book because I'm not interested in talking about the writer, but I have to talk about the writer because he wrote the book. But I'm not here for the politics. I'm not here for the drama or the polarization that goes with this, you know. Let some people tell it. I probably shouldn't even be doing this review. But I'm a grown ass man and I do what I want. So, and you know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, I can separate the art from the artist. I can do that. Everybody can't do that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not one of these people that has fake outrage, you know what I'm saying? You know, that 1 minute you're mad at this, 1 minute you're mad at that. And I'll give you this analogy. When it was time for Lawrence Taylor to be entered into the Hall of Fame, there were people saying that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame based on his off the field antics, right? They said that. But Lawrence Taylor was a beast on the field. He changed the game and how a linebacker would play. This guy was once in a generational type guy, but there were people saying that he didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame based on the stuff that was going on outside the field. And it's like, bro, you can't keep him out the Hall of Fame. And they couldn't. And so even with this here, if somebody offers art, right, and I don't happen to rock with their politics or whatever, I'm not one of these dudes that's gonna put on a fake Black Panther shirt with a beret and walk in solidarity and call people out their name. That ain't how I roll. I know real coons, and just because someone doesn't agree with you, don't make them that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Everybody could be quote unquote a coon under somebody's definition. This generation of folk out here that's doing all this name calling, oh, they ain't killing nothing and they ain't letting nothing live. So, you know, that goes without saying. Having said that, let me say this. I enjoyed this book. Now, this book, of course, is Isom. It is written by Eric D. July. The art is by Cliff Richards, and it's colored by Gabe L. Tabe. I hope I ain't breaking up, blundering up your name, but that's Gabe E. We'll just say it like that. So my first thoughts is that one, this is a page turn. I read this book twice, okay? And both times it took me probably about 35 minutes to read this book because this is a graphic novel. This book is like 96 pages. So this is literally like 4 or 5 comics wrapped in one volume. You get a full story arc in this book. And, you know, this book is written well. Considering that this is Eric July's first effort, I give him an A for effort off the bat. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is nothing whack about this book. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's pretty good, you know, and people can hate on that dude or whatever, but he wrote a pretty good comic book, period. I can't hate on that. You know what I'm saying? I might not quote unquote like him as a person or his politics or whatever, but I got to give that dude his respect. This is a solid book. Now, as far as the execution of the book, I can't give it an A. It's not excellent, but I will give it a B. B minus. You know what I'm saying? The book flows pretty well. There is a little staggering in some of the dialogue, but not a whole lot, which is good. If this was something that was reoccurring or whatever, I couldn't really say that the book flowed well, but it flowed well for the most part, the whole book. We're talking about 96-page book, okay? So the way it was written, how it, you know, how the pages moved, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. The characters in this book, you know, there are a few. Avery, who is the antagonist, or the protagonist, I should say, in this book, who is AKA Isom. You know, he's an interesting character. We don't really get a whole lot about him. There's just a lot of stuff happening around him. And so we'll probably get more about who he is in volume 2. But there are other characters like Yara and Alpha Core. Alpha Core is a group of super strength beings. In this particular universe, the Ripperverse, as he calls it or whatever, superhuman beings are called accepts. And Yara is clearly one of them. And the Alpha Core, if nothing else, is probably the state-sponsored superheroes or super strength beings in this universe. And so they're not around a whole lot in this book. They're talked about briefly, but they're not around. This book is mostly about Avery and his pursuit of trying to help his sister find a girl that him and his family knows. And so again, it's pretty cool. I ain't mad at it, but they have enough pages in the book to where, you know, you're intrigued. You want to see what's up with them. You want to know more about them, especially Yara, because there's a panel where basically she drops your boy Isom or Avery and slams him on the the top of a car. It's pretty brutal. But we don't know if she's if she's good or is she bad. But she shows up in that, you know, there was some stuff going on, and Avery was fighting with an exception or accept is what they call them. I don't know why they use that word, but that's the word. But, you know, basically he gets knocked into the sky and he bumps into her. That's literally how he meets her. And so there's no real dialogue between them. They get into it, and, you know, for his trouble, he gets slammed into on top of a car, you know, from the sky. So that was the only quote unquote chuckle I got out the book, but it was cool. It was cool. The art in this book is pretty cool. It's not going to overwhelm you. It's not going to, like, you know, where you can look at it and say, that's the best thing. That's Alex Ross, baby. No, it's not that at all. It is a nice, you know, it's complimentary for this book. It's very, very professional. It has image-esque quality to it. It's very comparable, if I can say it like that. So, you know, again, this is for this here, this first effort, I ain't mad at that. We've seen worse if we keep it in a stack. So I'm not familiar with these artists. From what I understand, these are professional artists that worked on this book, the colorists and the artists themselves. So these guys have been around. This is not their first rodeo, clearly. So I definitely dug the art. My favorite panel in this book, or my favorite page in this book, is the first page in the book. And Derek, if you could bring that up, it has no words. It's just Avery and his niece. That panel there, that's the first page in the book. I love that only because, you know, that's a black man holding his niece up on his shoulders. And I just think that's cool. And if you have been a father, you have probably done that to your daughter, and you have daughters, you probably have done that as well. So that is my favorite page in the book. And it just happens to be the first page in the book, or the second page, I should say. There's the cover, then there's a page, and then there's that page there. So I enjoyed that. So overall, I got to say that this book is good. When I made the announcement that I was going to be doing a review, there were people that had a lot to say. And listen, I've been doing this for a minute. I've been reading comics for a hot minute. And I can honestly say that some of the things that people said that were very negative about this book, it's just not the truth. This was a good book. This was a solid effort on Eric July's behalf. You can hate on it. You don't have to buy it. You can justify not supporting it. Do what you got to do, bro. I ain't mad at it. If you don't want to buy the book because you don't like the dude, then don't buy it. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you don't buy this book because it ain't good. It's a good book, and I have to give my man his props, plain and simple. And so, this wasn't one of those things where I wanted to hate this book. I was on record as saying that I wanted this dude to succeed. And the reason why I wanted him to succeed, because he talked a whole lot of trash about Marvel and DC. He didn't have hardly nothing, quote unquote, good to say about those dudes. But I'm like, okay. Then he said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to be the solution. And I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that. Now he got people rocking with him. I don't care for that. That ain't my business. That ain't my business. This book has been out a while, and it took me a minute to go out and decide to consciously buy it or whatever, right? Because the price on it is not cheap, but again, it's a graphic novel, and so the price, quote unquote, is comparable. Shipping could be a whole lot better, but for the most part, this was a solid book for the collection. So this is a black man who created a black character. I don't have to dig into his politics to like it, but it's dope. It's a dope book. Say what you want about the dude. I can't front on the book itself. I know comics. If Rich don't know nothing else about being in this space, I know good stories, and I know good art, and I know good, efforts. This is a good effort. So shout out to Isom, man. It was a dope read. So I'm telling you, I'm recommending that you go buy it. If you want to buy it, I suggest you go buy it. But I'm not going to get into, all the stuff all the baggage that comes with it or whatever. I'm not someone that's going to sit up and worry about what people think, you know what I'm saying, about me buying the book or supporting the book or whatever. You can think what you want. I stand 10 toes down on when it comes to what I believe and what I think. And, you know what I'm saying, I have to be objective, because in this space, I'm going to be honest with you, in this space, we don't have enough people that are objective enough. And so as black comic lords, we can tell people to go out and buy this book, but we can't tell you not to go buy certain things. We can say, I'm not buying it, and that's fine. But beyond that, I can't tell you, don't buy this book because this is a horrible guy. No, I can't do that. Not consciously. Not if I say I really rock with black creators and in space, you know what I'm saying? We always whining and complaining about we don't have enough representation. We don't have enough original characters. We don't have enough of this. We don't have enough of that. But now you get it, and it's like, well, that's different. You sound like old boy Friday. Shout out to DJ Pooh. So anyway, my recommendation is that, go pick this up. This is a dope book. It's a dope book. I can't front on it. And I will be getting volume number 2. And he just recently put on his page that volume 2 is 112 pages. And not only in that, there's also what he teased out another title that's going to be, I guess something that he's going to be doing in another book or whatever. It's like two or three pages of a project that he's working on as well, another book. I don't know if this is going to be related to Isom or whatever, but it looks like it's completely different. But he's got that going on too. And shoot, man, I ain't mad at that. So it is what it is. It was a good book though. So that's my 2 cents on Isom. Do with what you will with that. Having said that, let me look at some of this. Some of these. Isom first issue was okay. The Hope second issue was better. Okay, that's what's up. I really don't know July's politics. I'm a sucker for Indy. That's what Mark Robinson said. Yes. Behind the scenes says a lot of haterade out there. The man outperformed pros and indie creators. He told creators to grab an audience. I mean, look, the dude, he did his thing, man. He did his thing. I can't be mad at that, bro. We can't be mad at that. At the end of the day, we cannot be mad at that. You can be mad at him for this, that, and the third or whatever, but but you can't say the dude didn't put out a solid product. Can't say that. You just can't say that. You can't consciously say that. You can, if you're saying that, you're just hating. And I'm not, someone to like confront people on their stuff with it. You have an opinion, you have your right to it or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Don't come to me with that foolishness, knowing that, okay, you say you want this, but then you get it, and then you're mad when you get it. Makes no sense. But that's people for you. Can't please everybody. But that's my review, and I think he did a dope job, made some bread doing it. And I just hope that the next book is like as Mark said, I hope it's better than this one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is my only issue, is that the issues need to come out faster. Waiting a year between issues is ridiculous. Well, Mark, I mean, here's the thing. You're getting a whole volume. You're getting this is a trade paperback. This is not floppies. You know what I'm saying? Floppies can come out monthly, right? That's only like 22-page comic. This is a 96-page comic. And so it's like, yeah, you wish you could crank them out like that. But you know what I'm saying? It sounds good to do that, but you're talking about 96 to 100 pages of material to go through. They need to be edited and all that stuff. Comic book writing and editing and all that stuff is not easy. And the reason why I can say that without being quote unquote behind the scenes is because I can look at writing and I can look at art and I can tell if something was rushed, or I can tell if something was done at a good pace. I mean, let's be honest. Isom, Eric July was talking about Isom close to a year ago. And we all of us were like, where's the book? Where's the book? Where's the book? When he finally got his space to put the book out, and it happened. So, I mean, that's part of creativity, bro. He's not a machine like Marvel or DC that have a whole building or one wing of a building compared to one part of the Marvel universe. And this is part of Superman, or this is the Batman floor, or whatever. It's just him and his squad. So shout out to him. So anyway, that's enough of Isom. Hope you guys go pick it up. If you don't, it is what it is. I did my job as a quote unquote blogger, journalist, podcaster, whatever. Nigga with an opinion. I'm sorry, I should have said that. Bleep that out. Anyway, I want to transition. We don't have a spotlight tonight. For just to give you guys a heads up. I mean, not a heads up, but I've been kind of busy lately. I hadn't done a show in a while. Me and Paul did a show, I think it was last week before last. And that was just kind of to break up some of the monotony of what I was going through in my personal life. My father needed my help. He needed my attention. And I had to spend several weeks with him, taking care of him. And, life happens. And so I had to move around to make that happen. So I hadn't been able to I've been reading books, but I do have a Rich Recommends coming up pretty soon. It's pretty dope. And it's basically it's not one book. It's going to be actually a number of books. And what I mean by that is it's a complete story arc of a book and of a story, I should say. So that'll be coming to you guys pretty soon. But I've been busy just doing with that. So I just finally got back home Friday night after being gone for nearly a month, 3 weeks at least. And so I'm trying to get myself settled. And so I just didn't have an idea what a character I wanted to highlight this week. So there's no spotlight tonight. So with that, though, I do have Rich Recommends. And my Rich Recommends begins with a comic book, a one-shot called Axe. ARC. 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 Okay. Now, ARC, this is a one-shot. Frustrated Fan Sports, praying for you and your family. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I really, really do. ARC is about poaching. This is different. This is not a capes and cows thing. So I already know Herschel turned it off. So, but no, this is a book about poaching. The gentleman that you see on the cover of that book there, he is the protagonist, and he basically is, trying to find a way to protect animals, but he's also trying to stop a poaching ring. And it was definitely a dope read. It's a one shot. This is a very, very new book, so it just came out, so you might be able to find it. It's a Top Cow book. The guy who wrote it, actually, it was a number of writers. It's written by Matt Hawkins, Ryan Cady, and Paul Feinstein, and the art is by Attilio Rogi. And this is a Top Cow image effort, and it's just a one shot, and it's a dope story. It's a solid read. I think you really guys will really enjoy it, and it's different. You know what I'm saying? As much as I love superheroes or whatever, I'm not tied to that. I'm not chained to it. I like to read things differently, and art I think will be a solid addition to your collection. This next book this next recommends is a graphic novel, and this has been out for a minute, but I love this book. This is the 21. It's called 21: The Story of Roberto Clemente. It's a graphic novel by Wilfred Santiago. This is a dope, dope, dope book. I love baseball. I love baseball, and you know, Roberto Clemente is the GOAT, and he's from Puerto Rico. And the dope story about this graphic novel is it's about his story, but you get a lot of history of the African and Caribbean influence. The people of Puerto Rico, are definitely African. I'm gonna just say it like that. Clemente, they dig into that. They dig into the prejudices of his day. They dig into the things he had to put up with as a star athlete. I'm gonna tell you, I got to tell you, man, it was a pretty good book. I read this book in one setting. I sat down and could not put it down. It's that good, and I mean, it's the best of both. Where you get a little history, you get some dope art, and it's a passion project clearly for this guy. And again, if you know anything about Roberto Clemente, you know that he was one of the best to ever do it. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Pirates and his whole family. And I've gone to Puerto Rico, and when you go to Puerto Rico, you will see Roberto Clemente's fingerprints on a lot of stuff. So yeah, yeah. He said, "Will be 14 years later this week since I lost my father." Condolences, my brother. Condolences. My father, I mean, my father, just to be transparent here for a hot second, my father has Alzheimer's, and you know, without getting to the details of it, I will just simply say that it has been taxing for myself and for my family. Um, one of the things about life, I don't know why y'all making me go here, but one of the things about life is if God is gifted you with time, and there may be a time where your father took care of you, and there may be a time when you be the one to have to take care of them. I put up a Facebook post a few weeks ago. I took my father to the barbershop, and I just couldn't help but think about the times my father took me to the barbershop as a young kid. Here he is, 81 years old, me taking him to the barbershop to get him cleaned up. And just something that small is the world. I have no sad story. I definitely solicit and appreciate everyone's prayers and concerns. But if I couldn't handle it, God wouldn't send it my way. So I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But condolences to you, Brooklyn, because I know I've lost my mother in 2015. and it's never easy when you lose a parent, for sure. Um, you never get over it. I don't think you're supposed to. But that's what's up with that. With that being said, guys, before we get out of here, I'm gonna just ask what's on you guys' mind, because again, we're doing this show, and I've done what I wanted to do. So you guys talk to me. What's going on in y'all world? What are you guys reading? What do you guys recommend? Um, I've read just about everything. The Photon book. um, it was okay. Uh, again, when a writer has only so much time to put together a story, it is what it is. Um, Frustrated says, Rich, we're here for you, bro. We just don't support each other for comments, but for we're here to support in life. Appreciate that. Respect. Um, you know, I really appreciate that, bro, because it's one of those things where I recognize that we're people at the end of the day, that we're not just comic heads, that we're people, that we live our lives, we go about our business, we handle life and things, and you know, it 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 can be rough at times, but I'm grateful that I have people around me to lift me up and to you know support. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's important. I want to be here, which is why my I part of there were days when I wanted to stick my head in the sand or just crawl up under the covers and not come out. You know what I'm saying? But that's not life. Life happens and life goes on. And just because it might suck for me at this moment, it doesn't stop me from counting my blessings. And my blessings flow without number. So, we keep trucking. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what's up. Graffiti University Comics, appreciate you, bro. Frustrated Spokesman says Static's Shadows of Dakota has been dope as heck. Well, I wanted issue 3 to be better. I'll say it like that. It was cool. It was cool. But I am enjoying I definitely am enjoying this volume of Static, or this season of Static, than the previous one. I will say that. So that's what's up. What else we got? Gunn seems like he's really committed to Icon as a franchise. Well, I won't believe it till I see it. I'll say it like that. These guys, I like James Gunn. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He puts out some dope books. I heard that the Guardians of the Galaxy #3 is amazing. And so I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? I want James Gunn to, if he's really wanting to do something with Icon, that would be cool. That would be cool. I'm here for it. But again, until it's done, it's just talk. So, you got to show me, James. I like you, but you got to show me. Let's see. What else we got? Who could play Icon in live action? Shout out to Pericles, I'm sorry. I don't know. Fan casting is not my thing. I'm gonna just say Damson Idris, like everybody. say Saint ain't got a job no more, so he might as well just drop. shout out to all of those out there that like Snowfall. That show just ended, and yeah, so Damson Idris he doesn't have a job now, so he could play Icon, sure. I'm a now people go back and forth or whatever. Some people say, well, Snowfall is better than The Wire. I disagree. I think Snowfall is dope, but I don't think it's better than The Wire. But that's just me. And I don't have really a dog in that fight because Snowfall is a West Coast movie and The Wire is a East Coast thing as well. So, you know, I mean, you know, either way, they were both entertaining. I'll say it like that. Mark's no, wait a minute, wait now, Mark. Let me say, I was disappointed in Photon. No action really. It was more of an emotional story instead of a superhero story. I asked the good Doc Ewing if there was gonna have action in it. She lied. Well, I will say this without going into the going into the lie allegedly. We're gonna say it like that, okay? Um, no, it was not a lot of action in this, but I also think that part of the problem is you have a cosmic being and you literally trying to put a story. You know, I think that story had legs, meaning that it could have really went somewhere. I kind of like the Beyonder approach to it, but at the same time, there was no real and you know there was no real antagonist in the comic book, which is in my opinion was the issue. Um, there wasn't a real villain because the Beyonder was causing all of this, but the Beyonder was kind of like an imp, you know, kind of like egging her on. Come on, Monica, let's go for a ride. Let's go over here for a minute. No, let's go over here to this part of it. And it was kind of it was disjointed um, at times, but I think that you know with it only being 5 issues, um, I think that you only can do so much with 5 issues. And here's the other thing too. I think part of the other problem is that Monica has been in a lot of different comic books, but Monica has not really had a full story. Behind the scenes is maybe the Photon comic should have been a novel. I definitely think it could have been just a graphic novel. Yes. Um, you know, listen, I like Zerby says she was the protagonist and the antagonist. Well, but the problem with that though is that you know you kind of confuse people because I do remember reading this and thinking to myself, okay, she's kind of bouncing around or whatever, but where are we going? And I think that's the problem. We didn't never knew where we were going, which was like, okay, and now it just ended. It's like, oh, okay. And again, could it have been better? Absolutely. I'm not going to front and say it couldn't have been better. It could have been a lot better. But I think that, you know, given that writers only are given a certain amount of time to do certain stories, it's not an easy thing. Um, you know, speaking of cosmic beings, you know, John Jennings is doing Ghostlight, another cosmic being. And so issue 4 will be out pretty soon, I believe. But that's only going to be 5 issues, I think. And I hope that, you know, it doesn't fall under that same guise. You know, right now it seems like he's doing a dope job. But when you deal with the cosmic, there's always that chance. It's almost better to tell a complete story. Like the Al Harper from uh Silver Surfer #5, that was a complete story, right? It's almost better to do that than to try to linger with a story because you never just know. Frustrated says, I think Marvel editors had a lot of input on what she was writing. It seems Dr. Ewing had a vision and it started to get a little distracted. There's that. Marvel's fingers was definitely in the pie. And let's not forget that Dr. Ewing is also gearing up to release the first Black Panther issue. So doing that, then getting ready to do this, and I'm not saying you can't, you know, walk and chew gum at the same time. It could be a challenge. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Behind it says $10 that she links up with the child in the new run. Well, you know, uh, Sam Wilson might have something. Well, was it Sam? No, not Sam. Adam Bashir might have something to say about that. So yeah. So Philly Bourne says, shout out to Philly Bourne. I participated in the Black Cotton Kickstarter. Glad it got funded. Can't wait to read it. White on white crime should be good, in my opinion. Yeah. Shout out to the Black Cotton crew and the success of the Kickstarter. Cool thing is that thing got funded and it still got like 30 more days to go. So at this point, it's gravy, meaning that there are going to be more opportunities to get more different things. I know some of the perks that they were offering were dope, and so this is going to make the perks even bigger now. So shout out to them, man. I'm looking forward to reading it as well. It's going to be cool to get the first 2 issues in one setting, so that's going to be dope too. So shout out to Black Cotton. He says maybe behind the scenes says maybe Black Panther and Blue Marvel can duke it out. Old school Bronze Era story. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, the Black Panther right now just needs a good writer. It just needs a good writer. It don't. I mean, T'Challa doesn't need a whole lot of guest appearances and this that. We just need to get T'Challa back to throwing hands, and saving the day, and washing the John Ridley run out of our mouths. Because that was a bit much. That was definitely a bit much. But you know, I'm looking forward to it. Shout out to the one of the books that I'm looking forward to, other than the Black Panther book that's coming out, is the new Blade book, written by Brian Hill. That is going to be pretty dope. Looking forward to that, and I think that's going to be pretty amazing. The new Blade book is going to be dope. So I have I'm actually setting myself up for, the new books are coming out or whatever. I'm good with that or whatever. But I've been filling some holes lately because I like to read complete stories. So I collect floppies. I know it's just easy to go get the trade, but if I can find the floppies for 50 cents or $1, then that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I've been doing of late. So I got like 4 stories around here that I'm getting ready to read. But I will say, Amir talked about this on his Instagram, the 1 in 100 podcast. He talked about this book here. This is a good book too. Deep Cuts, image book. You might want to go pick this up. Now, here's the thing about this book. This is a book about jazz. I will say it like that. Stories surrounding jazz. Now, I'm an old head and I love jazz. And I'm not talking about Kenny G jazz. I'm not talking about fusion jazz. I'm not talking about smooth jazz. I like some smooth jazz. I like Grover Washington Jr. I like, Stanley Clark. I like Earl Klugh. I like jazz. But this book here takes place back in 1917 in New Orleans. And yeah, it's a pretty dope book, man. You should pick this up. That's if you like jazz, though. But I do know this is one of 6 that'll be coming out. And I think the stories are separate. So we'll see another different iteration of a story when it comes to this line. But Deep Cuts is pretty cool, man. Go get that. What else we got? Paul says Wakanda will have justice. Listen, y'all just need to move around. Just move around. Just move around. We won't talk about the outlaw John Ridley. Be in the streets like a black Black Lives Matter protesters. Say his name. Say his name. John Ridley. Say. Oh man, I mean, Ridley has done enough work though. Even though that run was bad, I mean, John Ridley's run on I Am Batman was good. John Ridley's written some dope stories. His GCPD Blue Wall was dope. Mark says, Rich, it sounds like you collect for collecting's sake. Do you care about the value of your comics? Do you care about keys? I am a collector. Absolutely. I do. I'm not a key guy first. I will pick up a key. Let me see. But I like collecting different stuff. Now, just to ask you a question, do I care about the value of my comics? I care about. I'm a reader first and foremost. If my books can be worth some money, I'm here for that. But it's not my first. It's not my priority. You know, I don't. I don't just go out to buy a book to flip it later on. I don't do that. Shout out to Tomb Raider with the super chat. Great show, Rich. Prayers for you and your father. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But I like collecting. You said we know Paul's just being a hater. We collect stuff. Now I will say this. I'll show you guys this. This is not a spec thing. This is just the comic books in general. It's a buyer's market right now. It's literally a buyer's market right now. Yesterday's prices are not today's prices. If you spent bread on certain books, that book is not worth what it once was. A lot of prices have gone down. And I'm going to tell you how I know a lot of prices have gone down. Let me show you this. This is War of the Independents, issue number 2. Okay? I bought this book. This is my second copy of this book. I bought this book for a little over $100 recently, not too long ago. Okay? But I bought this copy recently. Now, mind you, I said I bought this book not too long ago for about $100. But I bought this book and this one. This is number 1. And this is number 3 for $95 for all 3 books. The significance we know of number 2 is that of all the independent superheroes that are on this book, there are several, and perhaps more superheroes ever. But I bought all 3 of those books for $95. So yeah, prices are down. I bought just recently. Hold on a second. Y'all making me work tonight. What I do with it? I don't think it's. Nope. I don't want to dig, man. I'll just say this. I bought a Strange Tales 169 for $100. It was a 2.0. And it looks good for a 2.0. But Strange Tales 169, first appearance of Brother Voodoo for $100. I bought that in Houston just a few days ago. $100. And that is a key, a show enough key. meaning that not only black collectors buy that book, white collectors, brown collectors, yellow collectors, a lot of people buy that book. And so, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you the opportunity to buy keys, it has never been greater. A lot of these prices have come down. All of us that have Adam Legend of Blue Marvel #1, bruh, yeah, yeah, that book is not going for 400 no more, 500, 1,000 no more. The book is down, but everything is down. And the truth is, inflation. People need to use their money for other things. Disposable income is shrinking, and so it's about demand. So it's like some of these eBay guys have been having books on in their shop, or people in LCS have been having books on their shop, just kind of collecting dust. I literally saw a Aquaman 35, first appearance of Black Manta, 4.5. I saw this book about 2-3 months ago at a shop here in Fort Worth for 400. I saw that same 4.5 book in that same shop just yesterday for 250. Yeah, there was a time when somebody would jump on that at 400. Now, not gonna happen. Let's see what we got. H&A says bought a CGC 9.8 Nita Haas for #1 for 1050. That's what's up. That book might spike at some point. Everyone trying to sell Brother Voodoo because he didn't show up in Doctor Strange. Yeah, that's part of it. And here's the thing about Brother Voodoo or Doctor Voodoo or whatever. When he does show up in the MCU, it's going to probably catch a lot of people by surprise. And it's not like people don't know he's coming. It's just like Blue Marvel. Everybody knows Blue Marvel is going to show up in the MCU. Nobody knows when. People thought that book might spike because of the Marvels movie, and he very well may be in the Marvels movie, but he may not be Blue Marvel. He may be Adam Bashir. He may be having a cup of coffee. He might be heating up a hot pocket, talking to Monica Rambeau. We don't know. we just don't know. But we'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. I read this last night. Was it last night? So, like I said, I'm a reader, and so I will read different things. Now, let's see what it says. It says, "But that Blue Marvel is scarce. It should still be pretty valuable. I see it. If I see it for a good price, I'm on it." Mark, good luck with that, because that's the thing. It is a scarce book. It's only like 17,000 of those books of the #1. But the problem is the demand. You know what I'm saying? I mean, somebody bought the full. I want to say the full run recently for like $450. The 5 issues for $450. That's like, okay, people were buying #1 for 400 at one time. Now people are trying to sell the whole lot for $400. That's not good, bro. Either way, even if that for a book like that to be that scarce. Now H&A says Ultimate Fallout #4 is way down. Listen, if there is a book that fell off a skyscraper, it's that one. A couple of years ago, that book was $5 grand. $5 grand. That book is down a way lot. The Lord Brooks said, "I'm going to be rechecking those keys now, especially the Dr. Voodoo books." Yeah, it's a buyer's market right now. If you want to buy keys, this is the time to buy keys. It really is. Because again, it's an economics thing. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the MCU. It has nothing to do because people catching bricks all over the place when it comes to the buying stuff. That's why I respect the spec guys, the guys that are able to um, find the book, pinpoint why that book is important, the significance of it, the demand on that book, and able to get that book at good prices. Because I'm waiting on Buck Wild, the Mercenary Man, to pop off in the DCEU. yeah, sweet Christmas. H&H says that Kevin Graveau had a ton of Blue Marvel #1s, but they got damaged in a flood, so he bought a lot more. He told BC that in the interview. Yeah, shout out to Kevin Greavy. We did an interview with Kevin Greavy, and he explained why the demand for that book is as big as it is. You got a lot of the books that he bought were damaged, so it's not a whole lot of these books out here. I mean, I have. Let me show y'all this. I talk about it sometimes. This is the trade. This is the Adam Legend of Blue Marvel trade. I found this at a sidewalk sale for $2. $2. This is the trade. Go to eBay and find out how much this trade going for. I ain't never known a trade to go for that kind of money, but it did. It does. It's not a lot. There's just not a whole lot of them out there. They're rare. So that's because they keep pushing out with a different cover every year. As I always thought that the Fantastic Four movie should take place in the 60s, then you could bring in Blue Marvel. Well, I don't know about the 60s. Because if I recall, Blue Marvel is like 40s, 50s. It's an old character. It might be early 60s though. I mean, people, the movie or the movie or the characters that people are waiting on as far as the MCU is concerned is the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. We would like to see all these other characters show up, but people in general are looking for the Fantastic Four and X-Men to show up. How soon is that going to happen? I don't know. I mean, Marvel has gone back to the drawing board. They fell flat on their face with Quantumania. They've had, some challenges selling tickets of late. It is what it is, y'all. Let's see. Oh, he said Ultimate Fallout is what I'm talking about. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how mad are we going to be, or mad we're going to be if Blue Marvel doesn't show up in any capacity in the Marvels? I would say a -2 for me. I don't really care, man. At this point, I don't really care. I have the book in my collection, and it probably is going to stay in my collection unless I need to really sell it. But I'm not hoping that he shows up and then I can go out and sell it and double my money or whatever. That would be nice to do, but it's just not practical, in these economic times right now. Just isn't. There's a lot going on, y'all. A lot going on. So he said, I don't want Blue Marvel anywhere near the Marvels. That movie is going to be a flop, guaranteed. Here we go. Here we go. Now, Lord of Brooklyn, why you say that, my brother? Why you think that movie's going to be a flop? I don't think it's going to be a flop. I think it's will it sell 1 million? I mean, will it sell 1 billion tickets? or will it make $1 billion? I should say. Maybe, maybe not. But I don't necessarily think it's going to flop. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Again, I think it's as long as it's entertaining. I just want the movie to be entertaining. I'm not going into the Marvels like, yeah, here we go. This is it. Let's go. No, it's not for me. Now, for me, if anything, it's going to be, you know what? I'm going to go and enjoy this movie for what it is, and that's going to be that. I'm just not drinking the MCU Kool-Aid no more. I like the MCU. I just recently said not too long ago, can we just enjoy a Marvel movie at the theater? And that's all I want to do at this point. I just want to enjoy the movies. I don't want to get into the. There's just too much. I'm a story guy. I'm a reader. So as long as the comics are dope, or as long as I can read dope comics, that's all I really care about. The movies are a bonus for me. It's a negative. I'm never disappointed in not seeing black character in the MCU. They probably won't do the character justice anyway. Black Panther was an outlier, and possibly, I mean, Monica Rambeau is going to be. We're putting up the poll, so a scale of 1 to 4. How mad will you be if Blue Marvel doesn't show up in the Marvels? Have at it, guys. Have at it. But no, for me, it's like a -2. I mean, I really, it's like I can't get mad at what's going on. There are there agendas. Yes. Does it suck from time to time? Yes. Am I just really outraged by it all? No, because it's literally made up stuff, made up stories, made up life. I mean, some people, they live and die by this stuff. I don't. I have a faith. My religion is Jesus. My religion is not comics, which means that I can kind of put comics down. I can walk away from comics. I don't have to have this. And again, there's so many different ways to consume the content. Whether it's cartoons, whether it's movies, or whether it's books, whether it's graphic novels. There's different ways to enjoy. There's different things to enjoy. We're very, very spoiled in a sense because we have all these different streaming channels. We have all of this content that we can just watch and binge. I mean, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? JF says, Mr. Rich, I remember you saying that before you would like to see them do something different with Blade. Do you think you'll like the route of him as a sheriff? Hey, shout out to you, JF. I'll say this. I did not care for the Blade Vampire Nation book, the one shot that came out where Blade was a sheriff. I just was kind of like, Blade kills vampires. He does not, he's not a cop. He's a vampire. He's the vampire slayer. He's not a cop. So if they could tell an interesting story, I'm here for it. I don't think that that's what they're going to do. Brian Hill is writing the new Blade book. I'm looking forward to it. But I would like them to do something, different with Blade, in the sense that if I would really like them to go back and dig into the Marvel horror history, Tomb of Dracula stuff. Let's go back in time. Do kind of like what they did with Werewolf by Night, that one shot that Marvel did for Halloween. I would love for them to do something like that with Blade. Tell a mini story, or set Blade up with a mini series on Disney Plus, something like that. That would be cool. Yeah. Now behind the scenes, frustrated says I would rather them do the Truth storyline as a Marvel series. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get that. I'm here for it. I just don't think Marvel's gonna tell that story. I think I was shocked that they did what they did in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier thing, man. So hey, um, behind the scenes is how are we feeling about Craven the Hunter getting with Calypso, a black woman being king of the jungle of Africa, the ultimate hunter of the movie? Well, Craven the Hunter movie is coming. I don't know if Calypso is going to be in the movie. I think she may be. How do I feel about it? I'm going to be honest. I'm not really tripping about it at all because that the history at Marvel and what they did with that character and how they portrayed Calypso and all that been written already. Will they bring that to the big screen? I wouldn't be surprised, but it wouldn't really bother me either because it's like it's kind of like history, my brother. It's already happened. So how they put it on screen, it's not going to look like how it was portrayed in the comics. I'll say it like that. They'll clean it up a little bit for consumption. He said that series will be banned in Florida. And you're right, Derek. It would be. So, Mark Robinson says, when I complain about an MCU movie, it's mainly about the story and whatever agenda they're trying to push. We just want good stories. The fatigue is in subpar storytelling, not in the superheroes per se. Let me ask you this, Mark, and this is real talk. And I talk with my buddies about this too when it comes to the MCU. And I remember asking it, I think in a show, or if not in a round table. But let's talk about Black Panther for a moment. I asked the question, and I think Paul was definitely there when I asked this question. Have we seen the Black Panther of the comics on screen? Even with Chadwick Boseman's amazing portrayal as Black Panther. Have we seen the Black Panther of the comics? Have we seen that on screen? Because I don't think we have. The stories, we've seen elements of it. The story for Black Panther #1 came primarily from the Christopher Priest story, The Client, some of that. And so, but the actual Black Panther of the comics on screen, have we seen that? I don't know if we have. So when we talk about stories and the authenticity of stories, you'll be kind of hard pressed to find what's in the comics, or better yet, Paul and Mark talk about this from time to time. A lot of the MCU stuff comes directly from the Ultimate Universe. It doesn't come. It's not even coming from the regular 616. Paul says the closest BP on screen was in Civil War. Yes, it's been downhill since Civil War. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. And so it's like, yes, we want good stories told. And let me just ask you guys the question. Because I would say that Civil War has been the best Marvel story arc told. Now, I know a lot of us love the Infinity Saga, right? But somebody tell me what has been the best story told. Paul says my T'Challa has never been in the MCU. There's that. There's that. Now we all have our stories that we like. Like a lot of us like Falcon. Not Falcon and Winter Soldier. We like Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's a lot of people's favorite movie. But to your point, Mark, we do want good stories told. But the question is, have they told or are they telling the stories from the comics? They're telling elements, but they're not really telling the full story. Or the because to me, how can you have the Infinity Saga or the Infinity Gauntlet, right, without Adam Warlock? Now, the people that have not read the Infinity Gauntlet or the stories on the Infinity War could care less. They didn't miss anything. They can care less about Adam Warlock. But for those who read the comics, that was definitely a glaring omission. First Lady Force Civil War has definitely been the best art. And again, there's a reason why they are backing up from what they're doing, because this Phase 5 has come out the gate. It has come out the gate very, 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 very weak. And so, how did they even pivot? I don't even know if they can pivot from this, because the thought is that Guardians of the Galaxy is amazing. Reviews on that have been very, very good. But where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? It's kind of hard to say. And, the situation going on with Jonathan Majors, how is Disney going to handle that? Because that elephant or that 800-pound gorilla is in the room too. But, when it comes to stories, yes, we want dope stories, but I don't think that they've committed to telling stories. Jerwayne C., shout out to you. Civil War was the truth as well as Winter Soldier. Thank you for the super chat. I gotta say, man, that I'm just looking at this and just think about that for a moment. Think about how long Civil War and the Winter Soldier's been out. Think of how long ago that's been. And how the stories have progressed. Have they progressed or have they degressed? Because yes, I was in the theater when Thanos snapped his finger and everybody disappeared. And we left the theater jacked up, messed up in our head. Like, what just happened? But I didn't come back in the theater when Endgame came. And I'll be honest, I'm not no spring chicken. So I didn't sit there for 3 hours. I had to get up and go to the bathroom. So I missed a little part in Endgame. But when I came back to my seat, I felt like I hadn't missed anything. And I've seen Endgame several times since. But can we say that we've had great stories in the MCU? So Winter Soldier is a modern day action movie classic. I'm praying for Cap 4 is decent. Boy, you talk now. I'll be honest, Dion. Captain America: New World Order. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. And it has nothing to do with Anthony Mackie. But it has everything to do with the direction they're taking the branding, if I can say it like that. Everybody believes that we're headed to Secret Wars. And it very well may be the place we're headed. But I'm literally looking at how does Captain America Civil War, how does Captain America New World Order attach itself, or how's it tethered to the whole picture? And I'm a little nervous because I would rather them tell the story from the last Sam Wilson run. I would like them to do that, but how does that tie in, or how does that move them toward Civil War? Not Civil War. How does that move them towards Secret Wars? We'll see. Frustrated folks, the way they are pushing the arc is bad. Oh man, I'm telling you, bro, this is not good. It used to be Kevin Feige we trust. Now it's Kevin Feige we giving you the side eye. Because what they have marched out there has been less than okay. And I don't know. Some people say it may be superhero fatigue. I don't necessarily think it's that. I do think that I think they have lost their way. I think they tried to put too many irons in the fire and tried to connect too many dots. I really would love if they would just tell stories completely separate from everything and not try to make everything merge. Like we talk about Blade, for example. He just hit it. He said they should make Blade full horror. Yes, I 100% and keep it away from everything else. Don't give me don't even give me an end credit scene. I don't even care. I don't even care. Don't even give me an end credit scene for nothing else. Just give me a good horror story with Blade in it. Let him hack up some vampires. Let him have a little problems. Let him, go through some things or whatever. But other than that, just give us a honest to goodness horror story. Man, I kind of wish Wesley Snipes. Nothing against Mahershala Ali. I think he's a dope actor, but man, I wish Wesley was still part of the MC. I just love Blade. Blade #1 and Blade 2, they were the business. That third one was a joke. Yeah. It says crap story fatigue. Shout out to Joanne. We had a small Comic-Con in SC, and I was rocking my BCL Child of the Future shirt, and people complimenting me. That's what's up. Appreciate you, Mark. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Behind the scenes says it won't be a superhero fatigue once Deadpool comes out with Hugh Jackman's return. Well, I'm here for that, Dion. I really enjoyed Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but he's getting old, and I'll be honest. Who in the chat has never seen Logan? Put a 1 in the chat if you've never seen the movie Logan. Because Logan is in my opinion, this is just my opinion, just Rich. Logan is in my opinion the best X-Men centered movie they've ever done. Logan was amazing. And this was about an old man Logan. I love that movie. That was a great movie. That was a great movie. I was done with Hugh Jackman then because I just didn't think he was going to come back after that because that was pretty amazing. Logan is literally an emotional roller coaster. Blade 3 at least had a pretty good soundtrack. Well, I mean, they had a few songs on there. I definitely like the RZA's song on the soundtrack. I definitely like RZA on the soundtrack. The only redeeming quality, Dion, of Blade 3. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Movie had finality. And I mean, that's the thing, it's at some point you can't expect these guys to continue to do what they do, you know what I'm saying? And when they bring people in for the MCU, it's generally for a 10-year time frame. And so it's like, okay, Hugh Jackman's been around with these Fox movies and the X-Men stuff for the longest. And then when he comes along, he does Logan or whatever, right? I mean, it literally is just like, okay, that's it. We're not going to see anything else. I mean, that's how a story have to have an ending in the beginning. But if you're trying to like what's the word that they use these days? Reboot. Come on, man. And I'll be honest, guys, this is probably going to get some rocks thrown at me, but I could care less about. He said yes because Wolverine Origins was trash. Oh, was it really though? Are we talking about Origins, the comic? That was like 50 issues. It was good in some spots. We got Dakin out the deal. Come on, man. Um, but I was back to my original point. That just kind of threw me for a loop. Um, I'm not. I'm just not really in a rush for the X-Men, and part of that is because I am tired of Marvel and the X-Men. I'm just really tired of them. I just wish they would commit to a story and stick with it and not change up every 2 years or so like they're doing now. I got a lot of X-Men comics, but I could care less about them being in the MCU. I would love to see Storm, but I really just am not just on fire to see Storm. I'm just not. I would love to see Storm and T'Challa, but I have turned the page on that desire. I've turned the page on that hope because they keep jacking it up in the comics. And from what I understand, in the new Storm run, Storm has a new love interest, whoever that is. Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty turns into the Royal Rumble of superheroes and cameos. That's what's up. Gang was fire though, yeah. No X-Men Origins Wolverine movie, yeah. I mean, you know, I want them to, if you're gonna do the X-Men, you got to do it right. You can't, cut, paste, and patch. I'll say it like that. You have to start from the very beginning, and you know, um, I don't know. They want to. It's just me. I would like for them to do a X-Men from the very beginning, before Storm, before Giant Size X-Men. I would like to see that. Then I would like to see Storm brought in afterwards, but I would like to see them like really go back to the very beginning of the X-Men. Um, start off with the first crew, X Factor, if you got to do that, but start off at the very beginning. Don't go. Well, anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. Let's see what else we got on here. Y'all, please hit the like button if you haven't already. Please hit the like button, man. So what else is going on, y'all? What else is going on? Who's gonna be black in the MCU? uh, well, I mean, Monet said Croy wouldn't be bad. You don't have to go with the Storm, and you don't have to go with the usual suspects. I'll say it like that. But at the same time, I recognize that they're going to go for star quality. So it's going to be Storm. Storm will be the first uh, Bishop later on, perhaps if they decide to go that way. Even though they could go other places as well. I mean, there are literally 100 black mutants, but they're not going to. No one, nobody knows about them, and two, no one's invested in them like that. We just started seeing uh, Gentle recently more often. We just start seeing who else? Um, Sometimes will see Gateway. Uh, I'm missing one right now. Another one. They're in the X-Men Red book too with Storm. It'll come to me. What happened with the Mandalorian? Well, um, I think the Mandalorian was okay. I think that this is my opinion. I think that with the Mandalorian, they ran out of story. Um, it got a little weird right at the end. I think they just ran out of story, and they probably should have shortened the season. Um, they committed to, I guess, 6 episodes or however it was, whatever. But they literally, I think, just ran out of story. The Lizzo Jack Black cameos didn't throw me a loop. I wasn't put off by like some people were. It was okay. Um, and I think it's fine. I think that, what I'm saying, they're setting it up to where we'll get more stories about Mandalore um, in the future. But I think that they just ran out of story. The Mando season ended perfectly. There was no story for season 3. Yeah. Um, you know, I think that the problem with the Mandalorian is you have this character Grogu, who's kind of the focus of the story, but the story is supposed to be about the Mandalorian, but it's more about Grogu. It's more about Grogu hanging out with the Mandalorian than it is about anything. What I have liked about the story is that they focused a lot more on Boca Raton, Kotan. I'm sorry. They focused a little bit more on her getting the dark saber back and that kind of thing. Um, I think they could have done something different with that, but at the same time, I'm not really mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I think that the Mandalorian, in my opinion, is like, it's like pie, bro. It's not the main course. But it's sweet for what it is. It's not the main course. Now I'm not sure what they're going to be doing in terms of the movies. But we have the Acolyte coming out pretty soon. We got a Ahsoka coming out. Those are going to be more meteor, I feel, in respects. But as far as the Mandalorian goes, I mean, we can't say that show did not have action. It did, but I just think that they ran out of story. John Favreau is still dope, and while we might have won a better show this season or whatever, what I'm saying, the truth is, you're not always gonna quote unquote hit a home run. It's Star Wars. It happens. Will Finn return in Rey's newly announced movie? I hope not. I hope not. I don't think John Boyega is going back to Star Wars. That check gonna have to be, they're gonna have to add a few more zeros to it to get him to come back. If that's what they want to do, but I don't think that that's what they want to do. Me and Paul kind of go back and forth about the New Republic and some of the stuff that they want to do with the comics and bringing some of that stuff in, because they say, okay, all of this stuff that's coming out right now in the comic books is considered as canon. And while that's great and that's wonderful or whatever, how much of that is going to actually, translate into TV shows, cartoons, and other media? Yeah. Zerby says I thought it was great. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think that it was dope for what it was. I just don't, um, I mean, I have hopes for the future in regards to the Mandalorian. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stories that they could tell. Um, there's a lot of meat on that bone. Uh, but I just think that they didn't have enough resources, because it's different. A movie budget is a whole lot different than a TV show budget. if we can say it like that. JF asks, will we ever get Brother Voodoo? Yeah, at some point we will. Um, I wouldn't hold the phone, though. I'll say that it's probably going to be a minute. I mean, it's going to be a minute for Miles Morales to come in. You're looking at a minimum of 5 years for Miles Morales. All you Miles Morales fans out there, aka Statty Jr., you're gonna be waiting on that. You waiting on Miles Morales. You're getting Miles Morales in cartoons. You're getting Miles. This is the medium that you're going to get Miles Morales in for a minute. It is what it is. Live action Miles Morales is. I don't even think Marvel is even thinking about it. They may be thinking about it, but for them to actually execute it and that kind of thing, they're going to ride that Peter Parker train till the wheels fall off. H&H, he answers JF and says, yes, eventually. Strange Academy too. Now, to me, Strange Academy is a far gone conclusion. Strange Academy is, in my opinion, one of the best books at Marvel. It's a dope. It just ended. The next volume of books have just ended. Strange Academy Finals just ended with issue number 6, and issue 6 was. I mean, the whole the finals story arc was okay. It was okay. It was. I don't think it was. I don't think it was the best prior to that, but Strange Academy, those 18 issues that they put out initially, Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos, amazing. It's as if they ain't scared of the name Voodoo. Well, again, will they use? The question is, will they use Brother Voodoo in a horror setting? And while he is a horror character, they have used him in superhero dynamics. He's been in comics with Black Panther. He's been in comics with Blade. He's been in comics with Doctor Strange, which, of course, you know what I'm saying, they're not going to do a full-blown horror movie like they probably quote unquote could. But at some point he will show up. What a troll question, frustrated. I'm glad he asked you that question and not myself. Woo. Look, guys, we got to get out.
Oh my God.
It's time to end the show. It's time to end the show. Look, we do have some dope interviews coming up on this upcoming Thursday at 9 o'clock. D. Ajay, the writer of Old Kingdom, is on deck. So make sure you hit your notifications bell for that interview on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. That should be a dope interview. And of course, on Friday at 8 o'clock, we have Morgan Hampton doing Cyborg. That's happening on Friday night. So as well. So we got a couple of interviews on deck, and both are going to be amazing. And don't forget, next week, our Killadelphia Spec Show, Sunday, May the 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on and get out of here. Please support your favorite comic book series pre-order before the final cutoff date. Get a pull list. Get your books guaranteed, because when it comes to Black creators, they don't always get the love that the mainstream creators get. And it's important to just, put these books that you think that you will enjoy. Just tell your comic book, hey, that book is coming out, like the Black Panther book, the Blade book. Go to your shop, tell them and say, hey, I want this book on my pull list, because they're looking for 30 days, 90 days out, so they can order the book. And they can also, that when you doing that, you also generate interest, which means that they're not only add a few more books to their wall, but they have guaranteed sales knowing that you're going to come in and buy that book. So please pre-order, pre-order, pre-order. With that being said, I'm going to get ready to get on out of here. I want to close out with a scripture. The book of Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, verse number 5. It says this: it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. With that being said, it's your boy Rich from the Black Comic Lords, Black Superheroes Forever Stronghold. Until next time, we say peace. See you in a few hours. Have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Love you. We out.